This is the NWA World's Women's Champion Thunder Rosa. Thank you for watching Mark's Name Joe. Un saludo a todos, cuídense mucho y a dar trancazos, cabrones.
Welcome back to Mark's Name Joe. Today we're talking our winners and losers of the week, going all the way back to October 5th. Talking about Raw, we're talking about SmackDown, we're talking about NXT, AEW, anything in between.
We've been slacking.
Let's start off with the slacking. As always, Joe, who do you have as your winner of the week this week?
The one, the only, the no longer Mustafa Ali, just Ali, right? He didn't change his name. He's not
Mustafa Ali. I think he's got his first name.
He's not Face Mask, right? He didn't change his name to something ridiculous yet, right? It's just Ali.
Yeah. I want to see what his retribution name is.
He's like T-Pain or something. I don't know what his name's going to be. A-Pain. Mustafa Ali came off Monday night, and I thought he was going to go. I thought he was all in on Hurt Business. I thought he was going to join the Hurt Business. They really swerved us, and in the process, they gave Retribution some credibility. I have more interest now that they have a legit leader. And not only that, I love Ali. And this is really good for him that out of everybody that they have, they put him into the leader position. And I'm interested Monday night in Raw, believe it or not, to see what happens with it. There's a lot that can happen, and I can't wait to see what Ali has in store, because I think that the guy's potential is endless.
Yeah. The common criticism I'm seeing on Twitter is people are complaining that this now cements them as a mid-card faction, and like they were expecting Retribution to become the new WWE champions down the road. Mm-hmm. But, part of me likes the fact that they're parallel to the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business isn't taking the WWE title anytime soon. I mean, Lashley's there with the U.S. title. So I think that that's a good fit for them. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. I feel like that was more of a Monday afternoon, hey, let Ali's the new leader kind of thing. But we'll see. I'm willing to see how it plays out long term.
Yep. It looks interesting, and it has my attention, and that's what they need. How about you?
Speaking of factions, my winner of the week is Big E. I loved that SmackDown split him and Woods and Kofi Kingston apart. I felt like that was a long time coming. I'm glad that they did. I know that during Kofi's run, they made it so that Kofi was clearly a singles guy while Big E and Xavier Woods were the tag team. Yeah. But I'm glad that we're not doing that. Yeah. I'm glad that we're going to get something different. They can still be the New Day. They can still be friends, just on two different brands. But I really like how he is now firmly going to get his own push on SmackDown because of this. So I think there's big things in store for him. I hope there's a Royal Rumble win in January there for him, too, eventually, if they build him the right way.
I was just going to say that, too. And not only that, but when New Day does get back together, which we all know is going to happen at some point. It will. Depending on the circumstances and how they present it and how it happens with a live crowd, the pop's going to be pretty big. Mm-hmm. And I still think that they will stick with his music, and, they're going to play this out. And it's a storyline within a storyline, and that's a good thing for Big E. It's a good thing for New Day. And it shows that, Vince really likes these guys. So that's a good thing.
He likes to split tag teams up all the time, and they've survived for a very long time as a tag team.
Yeah, he split up heavy machinery. You see that?
Ugh, let's not even get into that one. That upset me.
Yeah, that's not our loser of the week, though. That's not who I'm going with.
When I saw that Otis had been drafted, I knew that Tucker was going to. Well, I kind of hope that they had Tucker as one of those free agent things that I think they're saying. If you don't get drafted, you become a free agent. But then Saturday morning on Talking Smack, it was revealed that Tucker had been drafted to Raw.
And not only that, we all know that Tucker is going to be pushed right into that 24/7 picture, right?
I don't know. I could see him being a modern day Bradshaw type character. He's got the gruff look. Give him his last name back, please, Vince. Tucker. Tucker sounds like a kid that doesn't have very many friends at school. Sorry if anybody out there watching is named Tucker. All 27 people that are watching.
Funny story.
You're named Tucker.
I once had a puppet. And his name was Tucker. It's on YouTube, but I don't know if I should even say that. We don't need it out there.
We might need to link that.
It's gonna hurt it's gonna hurt our credibility. We don't want to see me with
Do
Tucker.
We have credibility to hurt?
We don't want to see me with Tucker and rapping into Gangster's Paradise. Nobody wants to see this. So
well, I know what I'm going to spend my entire weekend doing. Finding that video. All right. Losers of the week.
All right. You want me to go or do you want to go? Because I got a controversial loser of the week.
Well, let's use that as clickbait to get people to stay around. I'll go first.
All right.
My loser of the week, it might also be a little controversial, is the NXT Championship. Why on earth would I say
Jinx XT, isn't it?
Yeah. Think about
jinxed.
Everybody that's been around the NXT Championship lately. Think about it. Tommaso Ciampa was injured and out for a significant amount of time.
Yep.
Look at what Johnny Gargano's been doing lately. Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly just injured each other in their match big time. They're probably out for a while. Karrion Kross got the big push that we all knew was going to happen. Went over Keith Lee and messed himself up, so he's out for the foreseeable future. Ridge Holland comes out at the end of the takeover to pose with Adam Cole's lifeless body across his shoulder. And this week on NXT, he blows out his leg. Like, everybody around that title lately, and you know what? It's not even lately, because let's go back. Drew McIntyre, his NXT title tenure ended with a torn bicep. Andrade's tenure ended with him just floundering on the main roster for a while. Aleister Black, similar deal with an injury and floundering on the main roster. Like that title means so much when you're in NXT, and it means nothing when you get to the main roster. And lately, it's also meant that you're due for a big injury. It's kind of like the Madden curse almost right now. That NXT championship is cursed, and it is my loser of the week because of it.
And you know what? You could actually throw Keith Lee into that group because he had a very short run, and I guess you could call it like an injury, but he was put up to main and it's kind of floating there, feuding with Braun Strowman right now. So
yeah,
it's kind of it's not been a
I'm
good
remaining
picture for
hopeful
NXT
for a
title.
little bit with Keith Lee, but they're making him seem more like a special attraction, big men slapping meat kind of thing right now with Braun Strowman.
Yep.
I'm a little upset that every other match that he has had most of them matches, not even every other one, has been a DQ of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're right, though. The NXT title, the Jinx XT, that's what I'm calling it. That's the new name for it because it's not a pretty situation down there, and I don't know what they're going to do to get some prestige back on him. They might. I mean, Adam Cole's about the only one that.
It's not even prestige. I think the title itself is prestigious. It's just it hurts people.
It does.
I would say that the NXT Championship probably is still a top 5 title. If you have it, you are one of the top wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
However,
I agree.
It's a little tainted at the moment. So how about you, Mr. Controversy?
Controversy. Nobody's going to like this. You're not going to like this.
Ooh.
And let's just hope that Chris Jericho doesn't find this podcast and track me down because he is my loser of the week. 30 years of Chris Jericho. 30 years for this amazing talent. He is one of the best, if not the best, wrestler out there, okay? 30 years is your celebration, and you're put him in a match against Luther, and that is not a dig at that guy. Hold on, I know you want to say your piece, but the match was sloppy. It didn't make Jericho look like he should have looked on a 30-year show. That match lost my interest. I already had the wind sucked out of me because of Cody, and we all know how I feel about him. But I watched that with high expectations. Chris Jericho went into the show, and I was all ready for this match, and it came off sloppy. It came off dull. It was slow. It made Jericho look old. All right. If you want to have 30 years of Jericho, you have to have somebody better suited to put on that kind of show. This was a regular Dynamite match that could have been the middle of the card. This was not the 30 years of Jericho. You're going to have him face this guy. And please don't think that I am bagging on his opponent. I'm not. All right. He's interesting, but he is not the guy that you put in that spot. And it made Jericho look bad. All right. The whole entire segment, the whole match was not very good unless you are a AEW stan and you want to sit there and say it was great. I look at it from the good and the bad. Same with NXT. I want to pick apart the good and the bad from everything. That's what I'm trying to do. And to me, I'm not trying to bag on AEW or anything like that because I still enjoy the show. I'm still going to watch it when it comes Wednesday night. But it didn't hit anything for me. If I'm a casual wrestling fan and I'm tuning in to 30 Years of Jericho and I'm watching AEW for the first time and I'm all excited, new wrestling for me, okay? And you're going to put this match up? All the talent in the world they have there, they could have put on a banger with anybody. And that match was blah. What do you think?
I'm going to completely agree with the word blah. I wasn't expecting the match to be a great match. I was expecting it to be much shorter, and I was expecting that match was there to be the foil for some killer go-home 30-year celebration angle that they had. And I was left wanting more from everything, every part of that segment. Even the MJF interaction afterwards, I was expecting something totally different. I was expecting MJF to hijack it and make it all about him. Granted, he did give him that gigantic, even way bigger than this thing, picture of him. But I don't know, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like that was how to celebrate Chris Jericho. They spent the entire episode with these great little video packages, ranging from rock stars to former wrestlers to people in the entertainment industry to freaking Hiroshi Tanahashi. Lots of great stuff. And I felt like it was going to build to some gigantic must-see end of the show. And it was blah. So I'm with you there.
And not to cut you off, but to me, I felt like the end of the show, I felt like Jericho lost, he knew that it wasn't what it should have been.
Yeah.
Because his interaction with MJF at the end was kind of on the same lines. It was...
Yeah.
MJF put energy, but looked like Jericho just had all the wind sucked out of him. He's not the kind of guy. He's never going to sit here and admit it. He'll never admit that. He's not that kind of guy. He wants to make the company look good, but just everything, the match, and then the MJF segment, it just made Jericho. Like I said, if AEW wanted to gain people from this 30 years of Jericho stuff, I could think of 5 other guys off the top of my head they could have had. They could have had Orange Cassidy versus Jericho again. That would have probably done it much better. I was really disappointed for such a big show. That whole entire show for me, I was bored. And then I watched NXT and I had the same feeling. Everything was just the Wednesday night for me was just a typical. I'm going to watch wrestling. I'm going to fast forward through certain things, and I had so much higher expectations for the Jericho segment.
Yeah.
Everything in it.
They can't all be winners, but when it's a 30-year celebration like that, you kind of hope that they've got a winner. And we'll see what comes of it. But I mean, the only really good thing was Clownico, or whatever the heck they called that clown that he brought in.
Yeah.
When Jericho hit him with the Judas effect, that was probably the best Judas effect we've seen.
I think Jericho. That's because Jericho was pissed.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think he knew at the end of that match, he just looked like he had everything sucked out of him.
Yeah.
The match was, I can go on all day about it. It was, And I'm not trying to take anything away from Luther or anybody else. I'm not familiar with the other guy that was in there.
Serpentico.
There you go. But I'm not trying to take anything away from these guys. All right, these guys give everything they have for the fans, but this was not the match that should have been for 30 years.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't. I mean, that's it. And I'm not trying to bag on any of these guys. It's just that's my loser of the week, and I know it's not gonna sit well with some people, but
Well,
you know,
who do you guys have as winners and losers this week? Let us know in the comments. And on your way out, make sure you like, you share, you subscribe. Remember, we are Joe.